So an opposition in astrology is basically like when another planet is literally opposite of another planet. Imagine that the two planets are having a conversation, right? And an aspect is basically the conversation that these planets are having, or the nature of the conversation. So an opposition is basically like two opposing forces. But really, when it comes down to it, an opposition is like, imagine two people going to war. It's like this, they are opponents. Like, they don't like each other. They're not in agreement with each other. They're like, they kind of look at each other and they only see what's wrong with the other. I consider an opposition to be even more intense than a square. Like, I consider oppositions to be the most intense hard aspects. It's conflicting. It makes you pay attention to it. You can't ignore an opposition. You can't ignore a square. You know, some of these other aspects, such as trines and, conjunctions, they are easy flowing and you really don't have to pay much attention to it. They're like natural talents. And so an opposition, I like to explain it like this. So say two countries are at war, right? Two countries are in conflict with each other. They both are looking at the other country like, you do this wrong, your government looks like this, or you have this, we want, like they're pointing fingers at each other. But in reality, both countries are two sides of the same coin. Both are two countries, both reside on planet Earth, both have a common interest. They want to see their own country expand. They want to see their own country excel. And so they actually have more in common than they do have not in common. So oppositions are two sides of the same spectrum, but complete opposites. There is a lot to be learned through oppositions. And really what this indicates is there's a huge generation of energy. Like, you're generating a lot of energy in this area of your life because oppositions force you to pay attention to them. They initiate action. These oppositions help you to facilitate growth and, the expansion or in the lessons of your soul. Consider an opposition like playing. When you're on the playground and you're on a teeter-totter, you're playing, So I know that it's scary, like I know that it's intense, I know that oppositions feel like the world is ending, but try to view it as an experiment. When we view our aspects through experimentation and say, okay, like, how can I express this energy? The more lighthearted we can become about them, the more we can learn from an objective outlook.